Beloved chosen one, pause here. Let the world go silent for a moment, because heaven is speaking directly to you. You have not stumbled upon these words by accident. This is a divine appointment. The clock of eternity is striking, and the hour it marks belongs to you. Sunday is not just a day, it is the gate to a season you cannot stop. You have felt the pull in your spirit, haven't you? The sense that something unseen is about to unfold. Something that has been prepared for you since before you even knew how to pray for it. The struggles, the long nights, the hidden tears, they have not been wasted. Heaven has been watching, measuring your endurance, refining your faith. You've been walking through a hallway of waiting, but the door at the end is finally turning. The delays were never denials, they were divine disguises. Heaven was aligning what you could not see, shaping what you could not understand, and protecting what you did not even know needed guarding. You are entering a shift ordained by heaven itself. The air around you is changing. Even now, the same way dawn breaks without permission from darkness, the new thing that's coming cannot be stopped by the forces that tried to break you. Every plan meant for your destruction will turn into proof of your resilience. The power rising in you is ancient. It is the same spirit that hovered over creation, now awakening purpose inside your heart. You will soon notice how heaven whispers through ordinary moments, numbers repeating, dreams returning, unexpected peace settling in your chest. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. The Creator is signaling that what you have prayed for is already in motion, gathering speed toward divine manifestation. And when the shift begins in full, do not fear the unfamiliar. The road will feel new, but the steps have been ordered. Trust the rhythm of grace that carries you forward. Even if the path bends unexpectedly, every turn will reveal another layer of God's precision, pulling you closer to destiny. As the prophet Isaiah declared in Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Those words were spoken to a people in darkness, but today they resound over you. You are that light. You are the sign that darkness has lost its grip. You have felt invisible at times, overlooked by those you supported, unrecognized by those you loved, but God has seen every moment. The heavens have recorded your faithfulness in seasons when no one clapped for you. The waiting room you have lived in is now becoming the birthing room of destiny. Sunday is not the end of waiting, it is the beginning of manifestation. Listen, there is movement in the spirit. The pieces are coming together. People you've never met are thinking of you. Doors that once required force are opening with ease, and situations that made no sense are revealing divine design. You are walking into what was already written. Nothing can block what heaven has commanded to begin. Do not shrink now. Do not hesitate at the edge of your promise. Fear is loudest right before breakthrough, because the enemy knows once you cross this line, you become unstoppable. You carry fire in your veins, favor in your footsteps, and light in your words. This world has been waiting for your obedience. Chosen one. Understand this when heaven ordains a start. No human can press pause. The divine clock has struck. What begins this Sunday will not be a fleeting moment. It will be a chain reaction that touches everything connected to you. Your home, your work, your peace, your influence, each will begin to pulse with divine rhythm. So lift your head, Straighten your spine. Let faith replace fear. The anointing that rested quietly within you is now coming alive. You will feel the weight of heaven not as a burden, but as purpose. Angels are aligning. Instructions are being delivered, and power is being transferred. You may ask, why me? Because heaven always chooses those who survived what should have destroyed them. You have carried grace through wilderness seasons and still kept your heart soft. That is why God calls you now. You are the proof that endurance births authority. When Sunday arrives, do not resist the flow. Say yes fully, boldly, fearlessly. Speak life over yourself. Declare that your time has come. The light in you will awaken others. The favor on you will multiply, and your obedience will break chains for generations. If this word touches your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. Like and share this message so another chosen one may wake up before Sunday's dawn. Leave a comment with 777 to align with the prophetic number of divine completion. And subscribe, because the next word you hear will be a continuation of this divine movement. Heaven is watching. The countdown has ended. The clock of eternity has struck your name, and what begins this Sunday, no one can stop. Chosen one, heaven has paused for your awakening. You may not realize it, but the realm of the divine has leaned in close, holding its breath to watch what happens next in your life. This is not an ordinary moment, it is a divine interception. Everything around you feels as if it's slowing down. Doesn't it? That's not coincidence, it's alignment. Heaven has silenced unnecessary noise so that you can finally hear what's being spoken over your soul. Every storm, every unanswered question, every delay, it all led to this moment of stillness where revelation begins to unfold. God is not punishing you with silence, He is preparing you in secret. The stillness you feel is not absence, it's anticipation. Heaven is positioning you for a new unveiling. Angels have gathered around your timeline, watching for the instant your spirit says, "Yes, Lord, I am ready." There are seasons when heaven speaks through thunder, and others when it whispers through stillness. You have been in the whispering season, where your strength was tested not through loud miracles, but through quiet endurance. The people around you may not have seen your struggle, but heaven recorded every step you took in faith when fear could have frozen you. You've been learning what it means to trust when the evidence is invisible. You've been learning that faith is not a feeling, it's an agreement. You agree with heaven even when your situation looks opposite to the promise. That's what you've been doing unknowingly. Chosen one, agreeing with God in your persistence. And heaven has taken notice. Now the alignment deepens. The angels assigned to your destiny are repositioning things in your favor. Roads that were blocked are being rebuilt. Words spoken against you are losing power. The confusion you felt recently was the enemy's final attempt to distract you before revelation dawns. You are being called into higher awareness to see with spiritual sight, not just human logic. It is time to understand that what is happening around you is not random. The timing of every encounter, every delay, even every heartbreak has been part of a larger choreography of grace. There is purpose in the pattern. The unseen hand of God has been weaving moments together, ensuring that you arrive at this exact point, this exact week, this exact awakening, as it is written through the prophet in 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 9. The eyes of the Lord range throughout the earth to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. Heaven's gaze has found you. The eyes of God have not merely glanced your way, they have fixed upon you, measuring your heart and finding you steadfast even in uncertainty. You may not have seen immediate reward, but strength has been your secret harvest. The divine pause you feel is not a delay of destiny, it is a recalibration of direction. Heaven is turning you toward something you didn't expect but have long prayed for. The prayers you thought went unanswered were actually rerouted. Some doors stayed closed, not because you lacked faith, but because God was protecting timing. If you had entered too soon, the blessing would have felt like a burden. Now, you stand before a divine convergence. Everything you've learned in silence will soon make sense in sound. The whisper becomes a voice. The seed becomes fruit. The waiting becomes movement. Heaven paused so that you could awaken without distraction, so that you could see beyond what your natural eyes could comprehend. Chosen one, can you feel the shift? That strange restlessness you felt lately isn't frustration, it's the flutter of awakening wings. You are no longer crawling through this season, you are about to rise. Heaven's pause was never about inactivity, it was about synchronization. You are being synchronized with divine purpose, prepared for a rapid unfolding that will begin once obedience meets opportunity. There will come a moment, perhaps soon, perhaps even this weekend, when you will sense divine urgency to act. You won't need confirmation, because peace will settle deeper than logic. That's how you'll know it's God. The same spirit that paused time for you will now propel you forward. Every hour spent in stillness will translate into accelerated motion, and when things begin to move, you will realize something profound. Heaven never forgot you. Heaven was waiting for you to wake up. The pause was grace. The silence was mercy. The waiting was evidence that God was still at work. While you thought nothing was happening, eternity was writing your next chapter in gold. So breathe. Beloved one, you are not behind. You are precisely on schedule. The divine plan has not been delayed, it's been ripening. Like fruit that needs sunlight and time, your promise is reaching perfect maturity. And when it bursts forth, it will carry the fragrance of patience and the sweetness of faith fulfilled. The world will soon see what heaven already knows: you are chosen. And this awakening cannot be reversed. Let peace settle in your heart as you realize that even now, the gaze of God remains upon you. Heaven has not moved on, it has simply paused to prepare the stage for your unveiling. The stillness will soon give birth to sound, and that sound will carry your name into purpose. Chosen one, the battle you didn't see coming has already begun. You may feel its tremors in your thoughts, in your emotions, in the sudden heaviness that tries to press upon your soul. But understand this: the intensity you're sensing isn't defeat drawing near. It's victory approaching. Pressure always increases before a breakthrough. You are standing in the middle of a clash between what was and what will be. The invisible realm is shaking because something powerful is awakening inside of you. Do not be surprised by the sudden warfare around your peace. Do not question why people who once supported you have turned silent, why confusion seems to visit your mind uninvited, or why obstacles appear where there was once open ground. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that you have crossed into contested territory. The enemy does not waste energy fighting what poses no threat. The darkness recognizes what you carry, and it trembles. There are two kinds of battles in life: those you see, and those that happen in the unseen. Right now, you are fighting the unseen one, the one fought through faith, through words spoken in prayer, through silent endurance when no one understands your pain. But you are not fighting alone. Heaven has deployed angels on your behalf. The warfare around you is fierce because your anointing is valuable. The greater your purpose, the greater the resistance before it manifests. You are not losing, you are being refined. Every fiery test is stripping away what can't go with you into your next season. You've asked for power, for clarity, for purpose, and this battle is the answer. Power is not handed out in comfort. It is forged in conflict. Purpose isn't revealed in peace alone, but in the storm that exposes what you truly believe. As it is declared by the Apostle in 2 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds." These words are not ancient history, they are your present reality. You are not armed with human strength, but with divine strategy. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead empowers you to pull down every wall the enemy has built against your destiny. So, when the heaviness tries to settle, lift your voice in defiance. Speak life. Speak scripture. Speak identity. You are not a victim of your circumstance. You are a vessel of heaven's authority. When you declare light, darkness has no choice but to retreat. Your words carry power because they are backed by divine mandate. This battle is not here to destroy you, it is here to reveal you. Every blow from the enemy exposes a new layer of strength you didn't know existed. The tears you cry now are not weakness, they are water that softens the ground where your next victory will bloom. The weariness you feel is not the end, it's the stretching that precedes elevation. Think of this. Chosen one, the greater the shaking, the greater the shift. What seems like everything falling apart is often the rearrangement of heaven preparing you for greater territory. You are being repositioned. The people walking away are not losses, they are subtractions required for clarity. The doors closing are not rejection, they are divine redirection. Do not focus on the visible, keep your eyes on the eternal. The unseen is where your real story is being written. Heaven is scripting victory on the pages of your perseverance. The Lord is teaching your hands to war and your fingers to fight, not with fear, but with faith. You will look back and realize that this battle was the birthplace of your authority. So stand firm, even if your knees shake. Stand, even if your voice cracks. Speak, even if your heart feels fragile. Believe, because the very moment you choose faith over fear, angels move at your command. The realm of darkness begins to crumble under the sound of your conviction. You are being trained for victory. You are being conditioned for glory. You are learning how to stand when others fall. You are discovering that your power does not come from your strength, but from your surrender. The more you yield to God, the more unstoppable you become. And now, chosen one, let this declaration rise within you. The battle is not yours, it belongs to the Lord. You are fighting, yes, but the outcome is already decided. You will not just survive this. You will emerge shining with the authority of one who has seen the fire and found God inside it. The pressure you feel is proof that your promise is near. Do not curse this moment, consecrate it. Lift your eyes beyond the chaos and see the crown waiting on the other side. Every attack is working together to push you into destiny. Heaven does not waste pain. Before this section ends, I want you to seal this word in your spirit with an act of faith. In the comments below, Write, "I stand firm." It's not just a phrase, it's a declaration. It means you will not retreat. You will not surrender. And you will not allow fear to silence the faith God has placed inside you. When you type those 3 words, you're not just joining others, you're joining heaven's army, declaring that you recognize the battle, but you also recognize the victory. Remember, the battle you didn't see coming was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to introduce you to the warrior you've always been. Chosen one. The season of delay is collapsing. What once held you back is losing its grip. You may have grown accustomed to waiting, to hoping without seeing, but the divine order is shifting. Every chain of hesitation, every barrier built by fear or doubt, is breaking under the weight of divine timing. The rhythm of heaven is overtaking the slow pace of human understanding. You have spent nights questioning, why hasn't it happened yet? But heaven was never late. The waiting was a womb, not a prison. It was shaping your capacity to receive what's coming. Every delay was God's way of deepening your foundation, teaching you patience, stretching your discernment, and protecting your promise until it was ready to be revealed. You were being prepared for a blessing that requires maturity, not mere desire. When it felt like doors were closing in your face, when opportunities passed you by, heaven was whispering, "Not yet." The delay was a shield. You didn't see the hidden traps, the unready connections, or the disguised distractions. What you thought was rejection was really divine redirection. Now, however, the command has changed from wait to move, from stillness to motion. This is the moment where every invisible chain that tethered your future to the past begins to snap. The time that once felt stolen will be redeemed. The energy lost in confusion will return multiplied. You will begin to see why the delay had to last as long as it did. Heaven's orchestration is never random, it is precise. The divine calendar does not operate by seconds, but by seasons. And your new season has just been activated. You will sense this change in the smallest ways first. The peace that replaces worry. The sudden courage to do what once terrified you. The subtle joy that appears without explanation. That is how divine timing reveals itself, not with thunder, but with inner knowing. Heaven moves quietly before it moves publicly, as it was spoken in Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 11, "He makes everything beautiful in its time." Those words are not poetic comfort, they are spiritual law. When God's time arrives, everything aligns. The confusion untangles. The loss begins to make sense. The pieces you couldn't fit together suddenly form a pattern that reveals purpose. You are entering that beauty now. It is not the kind that fades. It is the beauty of divine fulfillment, the kind that comes when prayers mature into reality. You are standing at the intersection where preparation meets purpose. What was once delayed is now being released in perfect order. The promises that once felt far away are drawing near, one by one, as heaven releases what was held in reserve for this appointed hour. Do not look back in regret. The lost time is not truly lost. The same God who paused the sun for Joshua can redeem years for you. The lessons you learned during waiting are about to accelerate your next season. What took others a decade will take you a year because the delay refined your focus. You have learned to move only when led by peace, to speak only when guided by wisdom, and to build only on divine instruction. This is why you cannot compare your path to anyone else's. Their timeline was not your blueprint. What looked like delay to you was divine design to heaven. You are not behind, you are precisely aligned. Everything that seemed to move slowly was, in truth, waiting for this moment of convergence. When heaven says now, everything changes. You will begin to notice momentum. Conversations will shift in your favor. Unexpected opportunities will arise. People who once overlooked you will remember your name. It will seem sudden, but it is not. It is the manifestation of prayers sown long ago. The fruit is appearing because the roots have matured. Chosen one. The key now is trust. Don't rush what God has perfectly timed. The temptation after long waiting is to force the next step. But you must let the wind of the Spirit carry you. The blessing that comes by force can fade. The blessing that comes by timing endures. Stay in sync with heaven's rhythm. Even as things begin to move quickly, hold on to peace. That peace is your compass. It will confirm where you are meant to go and what you are meant to touch. You won't need to beg or chase what's truly yours. What's ordained will find its way to you because it has your spiritual signature written on it. You are walking into a divine acceleration that will not overwhelm you, but complete you. The chains of delay are breaking, and in their place rises a current of momentum that nothing can halt. Heaven's timing has arrived, and the waiting season is officially over. The delays that once defined your life will soon become the testimony that defines your faith. You will look back and say, every wait was worth it. And heaven will answer, yes, because now is the time. Chosen one. Your light terrifies the darkness. You may not see it, but every step you take sends ripples through the unseen realm. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere changes. You carry something different, something the world can't explain, but hell can't ignore. That's why the resistance around you has been so intense. It's not because you are weak. It's because you are radiant. The darkness recognizes the one thing it cannot overcome, divine light. You've probably wondered why certain people reacted strangely to your presence. Some withdrew without reason. Others misread your intentions. And some tried to dim your confidence. It was never personal. It was spiritual. The light you carry exposes what others try to hide. When you walk in truth, falsehood trembles. When you speak life, every lie loses its voice. There are moments when your spirit feels the tension before your mind understands it. You sense heaviness in certain places. You discern hidden motives. You feel unseen pressure pushing against your peace. That sensitivity is not a burden, it's evidence of your calling. You were never meant to blend in with the shadows. You were designed to disrupt them. Chosen one. Darkness has studied you. It knows that you are a vessel of breakthrough. It knows that if you ever fully realize who you are, you will shift entire atmospheres. That's why it attacks your mind, your confidence, your joy, because those are the gateways through which your light shines. But it is too late. The awakening has begun. The more you've been attacked, the stronger your light has grown. You are stepping into a season where what was hidden will become visible. The flame that once flickered within you is about to blaze beyond control. Every attempt to silence you has only refined your fire. The pain you endured has become oil for your lamp. The tears you cried in silence are now the water that reflects divine glory. The world may underestimate you, but heaven never has. Even now, angels move to make room for your arrival. Heaven rejoices each time you choose to stay kind in a cruel world. each time you choose to forgive when it would be easier to harden your heart. These choices make your light burn brighter than before. As it is written in John, chapter 1, verse 5, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." These words are not mere comfort, they are identity. You are living proof of that verse. The darkness tried to swallow you through betrayal, exhaustion, and despair. But here you are still shining, still standing, still chosen. You are light in motion. Wherever you go, hope travels with you. People feel safer when you're near, even if they don't understand why. You bring calm into chaos, truth into confusion, and peace into conflict. That's not personality, it's presence. The presence of the one who sent you flows through every word, every act of compassion, every step you take toward your destiny. There will always be moments when the darkness tries to whisper that you are insignificant. But remember, even a small candle can challenge a vast night. Light doesn't need permission to exist, it simply shines. You don't need to explain your glow. Just keep walking in obedience, and your presence will continue to shift what others cannot see. Your assignment is not to argue with darkness, it's to outshine it. Keep your focus on the one who placed that light inside you. Protect it from bitterness, from cynicism, from distraction. Let your life be a living testimony that no matter how deep the night becomes, light always finds a way to break through. And as you read this, let your heart absorb this truth. You are becoming what you were born to be. Every moment of struggle has refined your brilliance. Every lonely night was a lesson in endurance. Every false start was preparing you to burn brighter without burning out. If this word resonates within you, let it not remain silent. Share it, because light multiplies when it's given away. There's someone in your circle right now, someone standing at the edge of despair, who needs the reminder that darkness does not win. By simply sharing this message, you become a messenger of hope. If you haven't yet, subscribe so you can stay close to the flow of these divine messages. This space was created for those who are awakening, for those whose light was never meant to go unnoticed. When you connect, you're not just following, you're joining a movement of light bearers. And, as you do, remember to let gratitude guide you. You're not sharing for attention, you're sharing as an act of faith. You're helping heaven reach hearts that algorithms can't find, but the Spirit can. Your light is not for display, it's for direction. Keep shining, keep walking, and let heaven use you to scatter the shadows wherever you go. Chosen one, the fire of obedience is igniting inside you. What once felt like hesitation is turning into holy courage. Heaven has been calling your name, gently at first, then louder, until you could no longer ignore it. You've reached the crossroads between comfort and calling, and deep within, you already know which way you must go. This moment is sacred. It's not about what others think, nor about whether you feel ready. It's about responding to the divine voice that has been whispering in your spirit, saying, "Now." Every great move of God begins with one step of obedience, and though that step may seem small, it shakes eternity. You've heard the call in your dreams, in your restlessness, in the way life has refused to let you settle where you no longer belong. Heaven has been preparing you for this moment, burning away excuses, stripping away distractions, and awakening hunger for something higher. What's happening inside you is not ordinary conviction, it's a holy summons. As it is written in 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22, to obey is better than sacrifice. These ancient words echo through time to reach your heart today. Obedience is the true altar upon which your destiny is built. It is the language heaven understands. It is what turns ordinary lives into divine instruments. There are moments when obedience doesn't make sense. When God says, go, while everything logical says, stay. When He whispers, forgive, while your wounds still ache. When He asks you to speak life over what looks dead. But it's in those moments that the fire of obedience burns brightest. That fire is not destruction, it's purification. It refines your motives, strengthens your faith, and reveals your true character. The fire of obedience demands surrender, not perfection. You don't have to have it all figured out before you step forward. You just have to trust. The miracle is not on the side of your understanding, it's on the side of your obedience. Every time you choose to listen, to move, to act in faith rather than fear, heaven responds. Chosen one, your obedience will break generational patterns. It will rewrite stories in your bloodline. The yes you give to God today will echo through generations after you. Some of your ancestors prayed for what you are about to step into. The breakthroughs you're about to see will not just bless you, they will redeem years of silent prayers from those who came before you. You are not just obeying for yourself, you are obeying for destiny. When you step into alignment, chains begin to fall, not only from your life, but from the lives of others connected to you. Heaven sees your willingness, and that willingness becomes fire. This fire cannot be quenched by opinion, fear, or delay. The moment you say yes, heaven begins to rearrange everything around you. You'll notice doors opening effortlessly, resources appearing unexpectedly, peace returning where anxiety once lived. Obedience releases divine order. It doesn't always remove challenges, but it gives you grace to overcome them. You may have thought obedience would cost you too much, but disobedience costs more. It costs peace. The price of obedience is faith, but the reward is presence. When you choose to obey, you walk with God in ways few ever experience. You begin to sense His heartbeat, His direction, His delight in your trust. Chosen one, do not let fear whisper that you are unworthy or incapable. Heaven would not call you if you were not ready. God's calls are never premature. They come at the exact moment destiny demands your response. All He asks is your willingness. The fire will supply the strength. You will soon realize that obedience doesn't restrict your life. It expands it. The limits you once felt will vanish because they were built by hesitation, not by God. When you obey, you step into flow, the divine current that carries you from one miracle to the next. This fire of obedience is contagious. It will inspire those around you. Your boldness will awaken others to trust again, to hope again, to act again. You will become a living reminder that surrender is not losing control. It's giving it to the one who never fails. And even when obedience costs you something you value, remember, heaven never takes without returning greater. The relationships, jobs, or habits you release in faith will make room for blessings that match your calling, not your comfort. This fire will keep burning, lighting the path before you. Even when the way ahead is unclear, trust that every step of obedience is building something eternal. Heaven is writing your story in flames of faith. And now, as a prophetic act of agreement. I want you to anchor this word in the comments. Type 888, the number of new beginnings. Do not type it out of habit, but with intention. When you type 888, you are declaring that this obedience marks the start of something brand new. You are saying, I will not hesitate any longer. I choose to obey. Let heaven see your agreement and align your steps with favor and fire. This is your moment. Chosen one, the fire is here. Let it burn away the doubt and ignite your purpose. Say yes and watch how heaven moves. Chosen one, the wind is shifting in your favor. For a long time, it felt like every step you took was against resistance, like you were walking into a storm that refused to calm. You've pushed through seasons of exhaustion, through prayers that seemed unanswered, through moments when your strength was barely enough to stand. But heaven has heard your persistence, and now the tide is turning. The same wind that once opposed you is about to propel you forward. The shift begins quietly. It doesn't always come with thunder or spectacle. Sometimes it starts with a whisper in your spirit, an awareness that the weight is lifting. The anxiety that used to drain you begins to fade. The doubts that once shouted in your mind grow weaker. You start to sense that something unseen is clearing the path before you. The obstacles haven't disappeared, but they no longer intimidate you. You feel lighter, not because life is easier, but because grace is carrying what you used to bear alone. This is what happens when heaven changes the direction of the wind. The resistance you've endured becomes momentum. The very circumstances that tried to bury you become the soil that helps you grow stronger roots. The spiritual pressure that once made you weary now becomes the fuel that lifts you higher. It is divine reversal in motion, God turning opposition into opportunity. You've been walking through a divine training ground. The storms that came against you were not punishments, they were preparation. Each challenge taught you resilience. Each delay taught you discernment. And each disappointment taught you dependence on heaven's plan over your own. You are emerging, not weaker, but wiser, not fearful, but fierce in faith. As it is written in Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, "The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still." The ancient words that once calmed a nation now reach across time to calm your spirit. You don't have to fight this next battle with the same exhaustion as before. The shift in the wind means you are moving into a season of divine assistance. Heaven is stepping into the forefront. You will still walk, still speak, still act, but the strength behind your actions will no longer be yours alone. Chosen one, take notice of the small signs around you. Conversations will begin to flow differently. Opportunities that were stuck will suddenly move. People who once ignored you will start to remember you. The closed doors you used to knock on will begin to open on their own. Don't be surprised when things that used to require force begin to happen effortlessly. That is not coincidence. It is divine favor manifesting through the wind of God's timing. This new wind carries restoration. It's not only pushing you forward, it's bringing back what was lost. Relationships, creativity, joy, and strength are returning in new forms. You will not receive a copy of what was taken, you will receive the upgraded version, refined by faith and built for longevity. Every loss that broke your heart is being redeemed under this new current of grace. You may still see traces of the storm, leftover debris from battles past, but those remnants will soon fade. The storm's only purpose was to clear the ground for your rebuilding. You are stepping onto a foundation that will not crumble again, because this time, it's built on obedience and endurance. You no longer need to chase what's yours. It will come to you because the wind carries your name upon it. The shift is also internal. You're beginning to trust your discernment again, to believe your intuition is not random but divine. You are learning to recognize the difference between what drains your spirit and what feeds your destiny. This wisdom will protect you as you move forward. Not every invitation is divine. Not every open door is ordained, but the Spirit will guide you to the right ones. The beauty of this moment is that the struggle hasn't gone to waste. Every tear, every late-night prayer, every moment of confusion, it all has value. God wastes nothing. The season of toil has built strength you will need for the next level. You are no longer reacting to storms, you are now commanding them. And when you feel the breeze shifting across your path, remember, it's not luck. It's alignment. Heaven has decided that your waiting has reached its end. You are entering a time when destiny accelerates, when what once took years will now unfold in months. The divine wind carries speed and precision. You will move forward without striving because you have learned how to trust. Chosen one, stand still for a moment and feel it, the invisible current surrounding you, lifting you, repositioning you. The wind of God is real, and it moves for those who refuse to quit. You are not forgotten, you are favored, and the same storm that once threatened to destroy you has now become the wind beneath your wings. Chosen one, a hidden prophecy has been resting over your life, quietly waiting for the right season to awaken. For years, it seemed dormant words spoken long ago, promises whispered into your spirit, dreams that refused to die even when everything around you said they should. You thought you had forgotten them, but heaven never did. Those words have been alive, breathing beneath the surface, waiting for divine timing to unlock them. There are moments in every life when what was once unseen begins to emerge, when what was buried in mystery begins to unfold in clarity. That moment is now. You are walking into the unveiling of promises that were written about you long before you were born. Every detour, every heartbreak, every waiting season, it all was preparing the ground for prophecy to take root in reality. The ancient words that were once a whisper are beginning to echo again. You can feel it deep in your spirit, the sense that something you can't quite name is awakening inside you. It's as if a part of your soul that was asleep for years has suddenly begun to stir. That's because destiny has called your name, and the prophecy written over your life has heard the call. You may not remember every word that was spoken, every dream you once had, or every moment of conviction that filled your heart when you were younger. But heaven remembers it all. The divine keeps records of every tear you cried while waiting for fulfillment. Every prayer you whispered in doubt but still meant in faith. Those moments were seeds, and they are now beginning to bloom, as it is spoken in Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." This verse is not an abstract idea, it is your personal origin story. You were known before time began. Heaven did not discover you halfway through your life. It designed you before the foundations of the earth. Everything about you, the way your heart breaks for others, the way your spirit senses truth, the strength you show even when exhausted, these are all fragments of a divine plan written long before your first breath. You have walked through things that should have broken you, and yet here you stand still believing, still hoping, still pressing forward. That endurance is proof that the prophecy over your life is alive. The storms were never meant to destroy you, they were meant to reveal what was hidden. The pain was permission for purpose to emerge. What you survived was not random, it was rehearsal for revelation. Every chosen one has a season when the hidden word comes alive. And this is yours. The people who misunderstood you, the moments you questioned your own worth, the times you thought you had lost your way, all of them were part of the preparation for this unveiling. What was concealed by pain is now being revealed by grace. You are about to recognize divine patterns that will make sense of years of confusion. What once seemed like chaos will form a tapestry of meaning. Every closed door will prove to have protected something sacred. You'll realize that the rejection you faced was actually redirection, that the silence you endured was sacred setup, and that the wilderness you wandered through was the birthplace of your strength. Heaven does not forget what it speaks. Prophecy is eternal. It waits. It watches. It awakens. And now, as the seasons shift and the winds change direction, the words that have followed you through life are stirring again. The dreams that once frightened you because they felt too big will begin to reappear. You'll hear heaven repeating phrases you once dismissed as imagination. But they were never imagination. They were invitations. Chosen one, you are about to step into divine remembrance. God is remembering you, not because he ever forgot, but because the appointed time for manifestation has arrived. What was written in heaven is now being spoken on earth. The words once sealed are opening like scrolls, releasing divine instructions and fresh clarity. You are not who you used to be, and you're not yet who you're becoming, but the transformation is accelerating. The prophecy over your life will not leave you as it found you. It will stretch you, refine you, and elevate you. You'll begin to see confirmations everywhere through scripture, through dreams, through words spoken by people who have no idea they are echoing heaven. Do not fear the size of the promise. Heaven would not speak it if you weren't capable of carrying it. The same power that conceived the prophecy will sustain its fulfillment. Your only task is alignment to stay in the flow, to say yes, even when you don't see how. Soon, you will look back on this season and realize that nothing was wasted. Every delay, every detour, every silence was necessary to prepare you to receive what is now unfolding. The hidden prophecy over your life has awakened, and no force of darkness can silence it again. What was whispered in eternity is now speaking in time, and it's calling your name. Chosen one. The breaking point of the enemy has come. What once seemed like endless warfare is now reaching its end. You've been walking through a long season of opposition, fighting battles in silence, carrying burdens no one else could see, standing firm when everything inside you wanted to give up. But the unseen realm has shifted. The tables have turned. The enemy's strength has run out, and your endurance has outlasted his attacks. You've felt the tension rising for weeks now, the heaviness, the sudden fatigue, the strange resistance in places that used to flow easily. That's not defeat. That's the sound of collapse. Every structure of darkness that tried to surround your life is cracking under the pressure of your perseverance. You have held on through storms designed to make you quit. But instead of breaking, you became unbreakable. The enemy underestimated your faith. He thought the wounds would silence you. The confusion would paralyze you. The waiting would wear you down, but he forgot who called you. Heaven has been fighting alongside you all along. You've never stood alone, you've stood covered. Every tear was seen. Every prayer whispered through trembling lips was recorded. Every moment you chose forgiveness over bitterness became a weapon forged in light. You are not standing at the edge of defeat, you are standing at the dawn of deliverance. The resistance you feel now is not an indicator that God has abandoned you, it's evidence that the final stronghold is breaking. When darkness senses it is losing power, it always intensifies the attack. That's why this last stretch feels heavy. You are closer than ever to complete breakthrough, as it is declared in Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. These are not words of comfort, they are a decree from heaven's courtroom. The weapon may form, but it cannot function. The attack may rise, but it will fail. The enemy may roar, but his roar has no authority over one sealed by divine promise. Chosen one. This moment of pressure is your proof of victory. The spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting, and heaven is executing judgment on every false word spoken against your life. Curses are being reversed. Lies are losing their grip. The confusion that clouded your path is dissolving like mist in the sunrise. The enemy's power breaks not because you shouted louder, but because you endured longer. Your endurance has become a testimony. It tells the world that faith still works, that hope still rises, that light still wins. You have proven what the enemy hoped you'd forget, that the strength within you is not your own, but heaven's. You were not just surviving this battle, you were learning how to reign in the midst of it. Now comes the moment of divine reversal. Watch closely. What once worked against you will begin to work for you. What once stole from you will start to return multiplied. Those who misunderstood you will witness restoration with their own eyes. What was meant to humiliate you will become the stage of your honor. Do not look back in anger, look forward in authority. You do not need to seek revenge. The victory itself will speak for you. The same people who doubted your calling will soon say, "Only God could have done that." Your breakthrough will not need announcement, it will announce itself. The breaking point is also a birthing point. From this moment forward, you will sense divine release. The heaviness will lift, creativity will flow, and clarity will return. You will find yourself breathing differently, praying differently, thinking differently. That's the evidence that the grip of darkness has been shattered. You've been through enough to understand that the battle is not always external. Sometimes the hardest fight is the one inside your own mind, the war against doubt, fear, and weariness. But now, heaven declares peace over your thoughts. The war that once raged inside you is losing its voice. You will soon rest in the assurance that you have already won. Chosen one. Let this sink deep into your spirit. You are victorious not because the fight was easy, but because you refused to quit. You fought when you were tired. You prayed when you didn't feel strong. You stood when others walked away. That endurance has become your weapon. The enemy can no longer touch what perseverance has sealed. And now, as an act of agreement, I want you to write these words in the comments below. I claim victory. Do it not as routine, but as a declaration. When you type those 3 words, you are sealing this truth in your spirit that the battle is finished, that the attacks have failed, and that every weapon has lost its power. You are not waiting for victory, you are walking in it. Heaven will see your declaration and respond with confirmation. This is the turning of tides, the collapse of darkness, the moment where your endurance meets reward. The enemy's breaking point has become your breakthrough. You are stepping into unshakable victory. And this time, nothing will pull you back. Chosen one, you are being crowned in the midst of chaos. It doesn't make sense to human logic. How can honor arrive in the middle of hardship? How can peace emerge while storms still rage? But that's exactly how heaven works. God doesn't wait for the noise to stop before he exalts you. He crowns you while the thunder still rolls, so that everyone, including your doubts, will know that his power is not dependent on perfect conditions. This moment you are living is holy contradiction. On the outside, it may still look unstable, but within, something is shifting. You are being crowned not with gold or recognition, but with divine authority. This crown is invisible to the world, yet unmistakable to the spirit realm. It is the mark of one who has endured the fire and remained faithful. Heaven is declaring that you are no longer a survivor, you are an overcomer. The world measures success by applause, but heaven measures it by endurance. You have walked through shadows, faced rejection, and kept believing. You have been faithful in small things, humble in hardship, and still kind when life gave you every reason to be bitter. Those moments were your coronation rehearsals. You were proving that your faith wasn't a performance, it was truth. The storm didn't break you, it revealed you. While others saw chaos, heaven saw character forming. Every battle that came against you became part of the foundation that can now hold your crown. You have passed through the test, and the King has found you trustworthy. This crown is not a decoration, it's a mantle, a spiritual authority earned through perseverance and sanctified pain, as it is written in James, chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. These words are your reality now. You have stood the test. You didn't run when things got difficult. You prayed through the fire. You didn't curse your delay. You worshipped through the waiting. That's why heaven calls you blessed, chosen one. Your crown is not just for show, it carries assignment. You are now called to reign in peace, to lead with compassion, and to influence with integrity. The authority that rests on you is not for control, but for impact. People will begin to notice that your words carry weight. When you speak, the atmosphere will shift. When you enter a space, hearts will sense calm. It's not charisma, it's calling. Chaos around you does not disqualify your anointing, it magnifies it. The darker the storm, the brighter your light shines. God often crowns his people not after the battle, but during it, because he wants the world to see that victory is not something you wait for, it's something you wear. You may still see fragments of the storm, the winds might still blow, but now you walk with authority. The difference is that you know who you are. You no longer react to chaos, you respond with confidence. You are learning that peace isn't the absence of war, it's the presence of divine order within the war. And soon, you will see this crown reflected in your reality. Favor will start following you. Grace will go before you. What once resisted you will now recognize you. The same environments that once rejected you will start calling you back. The people who couldn't see your worth will suddenly perceive it. It's not pride, it's prophecy being fulfilled. The beauty of being crowned in chaos is that you'll never forget the process. You'll never take the blessing for granted, because you remember the valley that shaped you. You know what it feels like to walk with empty hands and full faith. You know what it means to believe when nothing makes sense. That memory will keep you humble and grounded. Chosen one, let this truth settle in your spirit. You are not waiting to be recognized, you already are. Heaven has stamped approval upon your obedience. Every tear, every act of kindness, every unseen prayer has built this moment. The chaos may still echo, but your position has changed. You are seated in strength now. If this word resonates with your spirit, I invite you to share it, not as a habit, but as a sign that you recognize what heaven is doing. Somewhere, another chosen one is fighting in silence, wondering if God has forgotten them. When you share, you're not spreading a message, you're spreading light. You're helping someone else remember that crowns can come from chaos. If you haven't yet, subscribe. Stay connected to this space, because every word released here is a continuation of your story. The next message will build upon the last, taking you deeper into the revelation of who you are becoming. And if this moment has strengthened your heart, take 1 second to like. It's a small act, but a seed of agreement. This is your crowning season. Even if the winds still roar, you wear glory where there once was grief. You stand crowned not by circumstance, but by endurance. The world may still see the storm, but heaven sees the king or queen rising through it. Hold your head high. Chosen one, the chaos is not your enemy, it's your coronation drumbeat. Chosen one, heaven has grown quiet, not because it has forgotten you, but because glory is preparing to break forth. There comes a moment in every divine journey when the noise ceases, when prayers seem to echo without reply, when even the most faithful heart begins to wonder if God still hears. This is the silence before the glory, the pause between prophecy and fulfillment. It is not abandonment, it is anticipation. You felt it lately, haven't you, that sacred stillness? You've prayed and heard nothing. You've sought signs and received none. You've searched for movement, only to find stillness. Yet, deep inside, something tells you this isn't the end. The quiet feels holy, not hollow. It feels weighty, like heaven is holding its breath. This silence is the prelude to manifestation. The same way the earth stills before a great storm, the spiritual atmosphere becomes quiet before divine revelation. When heaven stops speaking, it's because it's already acting. The orders have been sent. The angels are in motion. The miracle is no longer being spoken, it's being built. You may have grown used to hearing God in noise, in signs, in words, in emotion, but now He's teaching you to hear Him in stillness. Silence is not absence, it's a deeper kind of conversation. It's the language of trust. In the silence, God is saying, "You already know enough. Walk forward with what I've told you." He's training you to depend on presence, not just confirmation. As it is written in Psalm, chapter 46, verse 10, "Be still, and know that I am God." Those words are both command and comfort. They remind you that stillness is not passive, it's powerful. To be still in faith when everything in you wants to rush, to fix, to understand, that is strength. To wait quietly, believing even when you don't feel anything, that is warfare. Heaven recognizes that kind of silence as victory. Chosen one, don't confuse God's quiet with His distance. He's closer than you think. The silence is His way of letting your faith breathe. When a seed is planted, it grows in silence. You don't hear it sprouting, yet life is forming beneath the soil. That's your life right now, growth in disguise. Heaven is forming the fruit of your faith where no eye can see. In the silence, the old self dies, and the true self emerges. The noise of insecurity fades, and identity becomes clearer. You begin to realize that God's presence isn't always felt as fire, it's often felt as peace. The same stillness that feels empty at first becomes the space where divine wisdom takes root. You learn to rest instead of striving, to trust instead of grasping for control. The beauty of this stillness is that it creates depth. Shallow roots grow fast, but deep roots grow in silence. You're being rooted for longevity, not popularity. The world celebrates motion, but heaven values stillness because it's in stillness that revelation matures. You are being prepared for what your words can no longer describe. Heaven is working on things that your prayers no longer need to request. This silence is the divine's way of saying, I've heard you, now watch. Every unanswered question is becoming an answered prayer in motion. Every delay is shaping into perfect timing. Chosen one, you may feel like nothing is changing, but look closer. The calmness in your heart is new. The way your perspective has shifted is new. The way you no longer panic when plans fall apart, that's transformation. You are not waiting for glory, you are becoming it. There is a glory reserved for those who can remain faithful in the quiet. When the world goes silent, heaven begins to sing. You may not hear the melody yet, but soon you will see its rhythm unfold around you through divine appointments, through unexplainable peace, through moments of breakthrough that arrive without warning. Silence is sacred because it hides the moment before revelation. The butterfly's wings form in the hush of the cocoon. The dawn approaches in the stillness before sunrise. And in the same way, your transformation is unfolding in the quiet before manifestation. Do not rush to fill this silence with noise. Let it teach you. Let it draw you inward, where God is whispering beneath words. This is where divine intimacy deepens, when you learn to recognize presence without proof. You are being entrusted with a level of faith that doesn't demand signs, because your spirit has matured to recognize peace as confirmation. The silence before the glory is not punishment, it's privilege. Not everyone is invited to walk through it, because not everyone can handle it. But you can. You were built for this. You were chosen to carry the kind of faith that thrives even when heaven seems quiet. And soon, very soon, the silence will break. Heaven will speak again. But not as it did before. It will speak through open doors, through restored strength, through miracles so tangible that they silence every doubt. When that happens, you will understand why this stillness was necessary. So rest. Chosen one, don't fear the quiet. It's not the end of conversation, it's the pause before heaven's response. Stay still. Stay faithful. And know this truth: glory is not coming, it's already on its way. Chosen one, the unstoppable ripple begins. The stillness has ended, and movement is returning to the air around you. You can feel it, can't you? The shift in your spirit, the subtle electricity that hums beneath your thoughts. It's heaven announcing that your waiting season has transformed into walking. Every act of obedience, every hidden prayer, every unseen moment of endurance has reached its divine return point. When God moves, He rarely moves in isolation. What begins in one heart often becomes a wave that touches many. The obedience you gave in secret is now sending ripples across lives you've never even met. Heaven is expanding your influence beyond your vision. This is not coincidence, it's divine multiplication. This ripple effect doesn't begin with applause or fanfare, it begins with alignment. You aligned your will with heaven's, and now heaven is aligning circumstances with your calling. Everything that resisted you is now being rearranged to assist you. The same spiritual winds that once opposed your growth are now carrying your name into places you never dreamed of reaching. As it is declared in 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 9, "Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, the things which God has prepared for them that love him." You are now stepping into what human understanding could never have predicted. The plans unfolding before you are not random, they were stored in eternity, waiting for your obedience to unlock them. The beauty of divine ripples is that they move through time and space. A prayer you whispered months ago is only now reaching its destination. A kind word you spoke years ago is returning as unexpected favor. Heaven wastes nothing. Every seed of faith you've sown has entered motion. The harvest will come in waves, not drops. But here's what makes this moment extraordinary. This ripple doesn't stop with you. The breakthrough that begins in your life will awaken others. The courage you show will spark courage in those around you. The peace you carry will calm others' storms. You are the beginning of a chain reaction of transformation. Chosen one. Understand that the ripple is not always visible at first. Some waves begin quietly beneath the surface, building strength before they rise. That's what your life looks like right now. Things are moving beneath sight. Momentum is building beyond sound. And soon, what was invisible will crash into reality. There's something about divine momentum that feels unstoppable once it begins. You'll find that things fall into place faster than they used to. Ideas will flow. Doors will open. People who once doubted you will begin to notice your glow, not a worldly glow, but the radiance that comes from being carried by grace. You'll begin to realize that you're no longer chasing opportunities, they're finding you. The ripple moves outward, touching connections and hearts that heaven has already prepared. The same spirit that stirred you into action is stirring others to receive what flows through you. You are no longer operating from effort, but from overflow. Don't minimize what's happening. What feels small today will multiply tomorrow. That encouraging message you send, that prayer you whisper for a stranger, that step of faith you take, all of it matters. Heaven measures ripples differently than men measure results. The smallest act of faith can change a destiny. And this is the essence of your calling, to move not by sight, but by flow. When you follow the flow, you become unstoppable not because of power, but because of purpose. Purpose never stops. It simply shifts forms, touching everything it encounters. You are entering a time where the smallest yes will produce the largest outcomes. You will say something in passing, and it will heal someone's hope. You will take a simple step of obedience, and it will open a door you didn't even know existed. Every ripple carries divine intelligence. It knows exactly where it's meant to land. Chosen one. When heaven begins to move through you, you no longer have to strive for recognition. You simply have to stay faithful. The wave will take you where you need to be. You are not striving, you are sailing. The unstoppable ripple carries you on the current of destiny. So let this moment be sealed. As an act of faith and agreement, Type 4,444 inches, the comments. Not as a ritual, but as a prophetic sign. 4 is the number of divine order, of stability, of creation coming into form. When you write 4,444, you are declaring that your ripple has found rhythm with heaven's design, that your steps are ordered. Your momentum is blessed, and nothing can stop what has begun. This is the moment heaven breathes through your obedience and turns motion into movement. The ripple cannot be undone. It will continue long after you've spoken your last word, reaching places your feet may never touch. Chosen one, breathe deeply. The wave has begun. The unstoppable ripple of your obedience is moving, and its echo will carry through generations. Chosen one, the earth is beginning to recognize your name, not because of fame or recognition, but because heaven has whispered your purpose into the soil of destiny. You have walked faithfully through seasons that felt invisible, but now creation itself responds to your presence. Everything that once ignored you is now paying attention. What was once silent is now echoing your divine identity. The world feels different, doesn't it? Opportunities are appearing in unusual places. People you never expected to notice your gifts are suddenly drawn to you. It's not coincidence, it's confirmation. Heaven has spoken your name, and the earth is echoing it. What you carry is too radiant to remain hidden. This is what happens when alignment meets timing. The divine current that once prepared you in secret now carries your influence into open spaces. You are no longer a seed buried underground, you are the tree rising toward visibility. The same earth that once covered you for protection is now revealing you for purpose. The time of concealment is over. As it is written in Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 16, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. These words are being fulfilled in your life right now. The gifts that once seemed overlooked are opening doors. The talents you questioned, the passions you nearly abandoned, the ideas that felt too strange or too big, heaven is breathing on them. You are stepping into divine exposure, not for ego, but for impact. Chosen one, when God begins to reveal you, it will not look like self-promotion, it will look like purpose unfolding. You won't have to chase recognition, because recognition will chase you. The right people will hear your name in the right rooms. Divine introductions will happen while you sleep. Conversations about you will carry favor, not jealousy. And every platform that opens before you will not be by chance, it will be by covenant. The earth recognizes obedience. Creation responds to faith. The same ground that groaned under your pain now rejoices under your perseverance. Heaven's pattern is repeating itself. You suffered in silence so you could rise in strength. You were hidden so you could emerge with humility. You were refined so you could lead with wisdom. This moment of recognition is not just external, it's internal too. You are beginning to see yourself the way heaven sees you. The self-doubt that haunted your steps is fading. The shame that once made you shrink is dissolving. You are standing taller, speaking clearer, loving deeper because you finally understand that you were never disqualified. You were developing. You have become magnetic to purpose. People will feel peace around you, not because you've changed your voice or your look, but because your spirit carries authority. What you carry now is not just potential, it's power. You've been entrusted with divine influence, and that influence will open doors no strategy could have unlocked. Chosen one, Remember that visibility comes with weight. To be recognized by heaven and earth means you must also carry responsibility. The light that draws others to you also reveals your heart. Integrity will now become your shield. Stay anchored in humility, because pride is the quickest way to dim what heaven has lit. As you move forward, there will be moments when the attention feels overwhelming. Stay grounded in purpose. Let every compliment remind you of the God who empowered you. Let every opportunity remind you of the process that shaped you. You are not rising by accident. You are being elevated by assignment. The earth recognizes you because heaven authorized you. The authority you carry is not for domination, but for restoration. Wherever you go, peace will follow. Doors will open because your spirit carries the frequency of heaven's will. You will walk into rooms and sense immediate favor, not because of your name, but because of the name that goes before you. There will come a day soon when you'll look back and realize how divinely orchestrated this season was. Every rejection was a reroute. Every detour was direction. Every no from man was preparing you for a yes from God. The earth had to forget you for a while so it could recognize you at the right time. And now, that time has come. You have been called out of hiding. The sound of your obedience has reached the heavens, and the heavens have answered through manifestation. What once seemed like a whisper of potential is now becoming a shout of purpose. The earth recognizes your name because it was written into its foundation before time began. When God said, "Let there be light," He also spoke of you because your light is part of creation's balance. The world needs your presence. It needs your compassion, your voice, your strength, your authenticity. So walk boldly, but gently. Shine brightly, but wisely. Let the recognition never distract you from the reason. You are not being celebrated for fame, you are being positioned for influence. And that influence will not fade, because it was built by faith, not ambition. The earth has heard your name. Chosen one. Now it waits to see what you will do with it. Chosen one. You now walk among flames, but this time, you are untouched. The fire that once terrified you now feels familiar, almost sacred. You have walked through seasons that burned away illusions, attachments, and fear itself. Yet, somehow, you remain stronger, lighter, purer. The flames no longer represent destruction, they represent refinement. You have learned the divine paradox. The fire that was meant to consume you has become the element that crowns you. There was a time when every trial felt like an ending, when you could not imagine how light could possibly emerge from pain. But heaven never wastes fire. Every storm, every loss, every sleepless night, these were not punishments, they were processes. Fire reveals what cannot burn. It removes what does not belong and reveals the strength that was always within you. You once feared the heat, prayed for escape, begged for relief, but now you understand. The fire was never against you, it was for you. It separated what was temporary from what was eternal. It taught you discernment. It turned panic into patience and pain into purpose. You have been refined until only truth remained. As it is written in Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, "When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, the flame shall not consume you." Those words have become your story. The flames rose, but they did not devour. You passed through the heat and found holiness in it. The world saw danger, but heaven saw transformation. Fire is an ancient symbol of purification and presence. When God appeared to Moses, it was through flame that did not consume. When he led his people through the wilderness, it was through a pillar of fire that lit the night. And now, that same fire walks with you not to harm, but to guide. You have become a living altar, carrying divine flame within. You can sense it now, can't you? That quiet confidence that no matter what happens, you'll be fine. You've been tested too deeply to be shaken by small storms. The same fire that once made you tremble now makes you fearless. You don't run from pressure anymore, you rise through it. You don't avoid challenge, you meet it with grace. This new strength doesn't make you hard, it makes you holy. The fire has not scorched your compassion, it has deepened it. You feel more for others now because you've been there. You understand pain, but you also understand promise. You no longer look at suffering with pity but with purpose, because you've learned that the ones who walk through the fire become carriers of light for those still in it. Chosen one, every time you thought you were being destroyed, you were actually being forged. The broken pieces became weapons of wisdom. The ashes became soil for beauty. The heat that once blinded you now glows inside you as revelation. You can now stand in rooms that once intimidated you, face people who once wounded you, and smile with peace instead of pain. That's the power of refinement. The fire taught you detachment not from love, but from illusion. You no longer cling to what drains you. You no longer chase validation from those who cannot see your value. You have learned that not everything lost was meant to be kept. The things and people that left during your refining were never meant to survive your next level. You have outgrown the cages that once felt like comfort. And now, you walk as one who knows the truth. You are fireproof. Not because of pride, but because of purpose. The same spirit that sustained you in the furnace will sustain you in the future. No accusation can stick. No attack can destroy. No trial can undo what has already been sanctified through flame. This season is not about escaping fire, it's about embracing it. Every new level of purpose comes with fresh refinement. But this time, you face it differently. You no longer panic when the heat rises. You recognize it as the presence of transformation. The fire does not frighten you because you've discovered it's not an enemy, it's evidence. You carry the scent of endurance now. When others look at you, they won't see someone burned, they'll see someone shining. The glow around you is not ambition, it's anointing. It's what happens when pain and purpose collide under the hand of God. You have become luminous through the very things that tried to break you. Chosen one. You walk among flames untouched because you have already surrendered. Nothing can burn what has already been given to God. Every area of your life that once resisted Him has now been yielded, and that surrender is your shield. The fire bows to those who belong wholly to heaven. So, keep walking. The heat may rise again, but it will not harm you. It will only remind you who walks with you. The presence that protected you before will protect you again. The same flames that once surrounded you in fear now surround you in favor. You are the living testimony that nothing purified by heaven can be destroyed by earth. Chosen one. Your voice is becoming a trumpet. Heaven is amplifying your sound. For years you spoke softly, unsure if anyone was listening, afraid that your words might not matter, that your truth might be too much for the world. But now, the time of silence has ended. The voice that once trembled will now thunder with grace. What once whispered in private will now echo in purpose. Heaven has touched your tongue, and what you speak will carry the weight of divine authority. This new voice isn't about volume, it's about vibration. When you speak, you don't just make noise, you shift atmospheres. Words that once fell flat now carry life. Your encouragement will break despair. Your prayer will disarm darkness. Your truth will awaken those who have fallen asleep spiritually. You are no longer just speaking for yourself, you are speaking for heaven. It is written in Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 1, "Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet." The prophet's words were not about sound, they were about clarity. They were a divine call for courage, for boldness, for truth that pierces confusion. And now, that same command reaches you. You are being called to lift your voice, not in anger, but in revelation. You are being sent to declare freedom to those still trapped by fear. Chosen one, your silence once served a purpose. It allowed you to listen, to learn, to heal, but silence has a season, and that season is ending. The world needs what you carry. It needs your story, your perspective, your faith, your compassion. You were never meant to stay quiet. Heaven didn't fill you with wisdom just for you to hide it away. Every time you open your mouth now, the unseen realm listens. Angels are drawn to the sound of your obedience. When you speak with faith, heaven amplifies your words and sends them further than you can imagine. The right people will hear at the right time. Even those who once ignored you will start to feel convicted, inspired, stirred to act. That is the power of a trumpet voice. This doesn't mean shouting louder, it means speaking purer. It means using your influence with love, not pride. The trumpet was never used to entertain, it was used to awaken. Your words are not for noise, they're for calling others into alignment. When you speak truth, even gently, it cuts through confusion. When you declare peace, chaos begins to calm. There will be moments when you'll feel unsure again, when you'll wonder if your words carry weight. But remember, this isn't about confidence in yourself. It's about confidence in your caller. You're not speaking your own ideas, you're echoing heaven's frequency. Every syllable anchored in truth carries eternal resonance. And as your voice rises, new doors will open. You'll find opportunities to speak, to lead, to comfort. Some of them will be small conversations with strangers, moments of prayer. Others will be larger platforms, projects, partnerships. Each is part of the same assignment to sound the trumpet of awakening. The world is full of sleeping hearts, and heaven has chosen your sound to wake them. So, chosen one, keep your voice steady. Don't rush it. Don't let pride corrupt it or fear silence it. Speak when led, and trust that heaven will handle the rest. The anointing on your words is not temporary, it's generational. Long after you've spoken, your voice will echo in the hearts of those who heard. Seeds planted by your sound will bloom long after your moment has passed. Your voice is not just communication, it's a calling. Every time you testify, you open a door for someone else to believe. Every time you share light, darkness loses ground. You are a trumpet in the hand of the divine, and the sound you carry is shaking nations, even if you can't see it yet. If this word resonates in your spirit, take a moment to reflect in gratitude. And then, from a place of sincerity, help this trumpet sound reach others. Like and share, not out of routine, but because somewhere out there, another chosen one is still silent, still unsure. Your small act may awaken their voice. If you haven't yet, subscribe to stay connected to this movement of light. Each word released here builds upon the next, shaping a journey meant for the ones heaven has handpicked for this time. You are part of something bigger, something that will continue to grow as more voices rise together. And before this message closes, leave your mark below. Write, "I will speak." Let it be your declaration. It's more than a comment, it's covenant. When you type those words, you are agreeing with heaven's assignment on your life. You're saying, "I won't hide my light anymore. I won't silence my faith. I will use my voice for good." Your trumpet has been tuned by fire, refined by faith, and filled with purpose. When you speak, heaven moves. Let the sound rise. Let it carry. Let it awaken the world. Chosen one, this is the dawn of the age of the unstoppable ones. You are standing in the threshold of a movement greater than yourself, one that heaven has been preparing for generations. You were never meant to walk this path alone. Every moment of obedience, every whisper of faith, every act of courage was not just for your breakthrough, it was to awaken others like you. The ripple that began with your yes is now becoming a wave, a gathering of lights rising from every corner of the world. The unstoppable ones are not defined by perfection, but by persistence. They are the ones who kept going when others gave up, who chose forgiveness instead of bitterness, who believed in promise even after heartbreak. They have scars, yes, but those scars shine like armor. The unstoppable ones carry both tenderness and tenacity, compassion and courage. They know pain intimately, yet they refuse to let it harden them. You are one of them. You have walked through fire and flood, silence and storm, and still you stand. You've learned that strength is not the absence of struggle, it's the decision to rise anyway. Heaven looks at you and sees not weakness, but endurance wrapped in grace. You are part of a generation of believers who will not bow to fear, who will not be seduced by comfort, who understand that light shines brightest when the night is darkest. This age of the unstoppable ones is not about titles or platforms, it's about alignment. Heaven is aligning hearts, merging purposes, and weaving individual callings into a collective tapestry of divine mission. The chosen are finding each other not through fame, but through faith. One voice becomes many, and together they form a sound that shakes the foundations of darkness. As it is written in 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, "You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation." These words are not ancient poetry, they are present prophecy. You are that generation, the one called not just to believe, but to build, not just to dream, but to demonstrate. You are part of a royal lineage of warriors whose weapons are not made of steel, but of spirit. Your worship is warfare. Your kindness is strategy. Your integrity is revolution. Chosen one, you are not just surviving history, you are shaping it. Heaven has entrusted you with influence that transcends geography and time. You may not see yourself as powerful, but the spirit within you carries the authority of ages. Each time you choose faith over fear, Light over compromise. You advance the kingdom of God in ways that ripple beyond sight. The unstoppable ones are rising quietly but powerfully. They are teachers, healers, artists, dreamers, mothers, fathers, students, leaders. They move through every sphere: business, education, politics, art, and community, carrying the fragrance of heaven wherever they go. They do not need crowns or titles, because they already wear the invisible mark of divine purpose. And you, beloved, are one of their torchbearers. Your endurance has qualified you. Your humility has preserved you. Your obedience has positioned you. Everything that once made you feel different, out of place, or misunderstood was actually proof of your divine distinction. You were never meant to fit in, you were meant to set a standard. You will begin to notice divine partnerships forming around you. People of the same spirit will be drawn to your energy. Strangers will feel like family because your souls recognize each other's mission. This is not coincidence, it is convergence. Heaven is gathering the unstoppable ones, and together they will carry revival not as a single event, but as a way of life. You have entered a season where acceleration meets multiplication. The visions that once felt too big for one person will now find hands and hearts willing to help carry them. What used to be slow will now be swift. What once felt impossible will now become inevitable. This is what happens when purpose joins purpose. The impossible loses its power. Chosen one, do not mistake unity for uniformity. The unstoppable ones are diverse by design. They will look different, sound different, think differently, and yet they will move with the same heartbeat to bring light where darkness reigns. You were chosen not to conform, but to contribute your unique spark to the fire. Your voice adds tone. Your story adds power. Your obedience adds flame. This movement cannot be stopped because it was born of heaven. The unstoppable ones carry the blueprint of eternity, written in their very being. Systems will shift. Structures will crumble. Nations will awaken not through force, but through faith. This is not revolution by violence, but by revelation. It is the transformation of hearts that will, in time, transform the world. So lift your head. Chosen one, you are part of something cosmic, something eternal. The battles you fought were not for survival, they were for inheritance. The unstoppable ones do not run from the world, they reform it. They carry the light of truth into systems that have forgotten mercy. They speak love where division reigns. They bring healing where hatred once ruled. The age of the unstoppable ones has begun, and you are standing in its dawn. You were chosen to walk in power, to live in peace, and to lead with purpose. Heaven's hand is upon your life, and no force on earth or hell can stop what has already been written. Chosen one. Eternity now confirms what Sunday began. The moment heaven marked as your turning point has now become the rhythm of your entire being. What started as a whisper of promise has matured into a roar of destiny. You are no longer the person who once doubted, feared, or questioned your worth. You have crossed the threshold from believing in possibility to walking in fulfillment. The divine motion that began in secret is now irreversible. The story that started in surrender will continue in glory. This is what eternity looks like when it touches time. It creates movement that cannot end. Every step you take now carries echoes of divine continuity. The blessings unfolding in your life are not temporary rewards. They are eternal confirmations. Heaven has placed its seal upon what it began in you. You are walking in a rhythm that will never fade, because eternity does not expire. It is written in Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Those words are more than reassurance. They are a covenant. The same God who initiated your calling will perfect it. He does not abandon what he authors. The script of your destiny is still being written, but the ending has already been guaranteed victory, completion, fulfillment. Chosen one. Look back for a moment, not with regret, but with reverence. Every valley was a classroom. Every heartbreak was a chiseling. Every silence was sacred shaping. What once confused you now reveals its wisdom. The very moments you thought were failures were actually foundations. You see it now. Don't you? The hand of heaven was in every detail. What once felt delayed was actually divine design. And now, as eternity confirms your purpose, you begin to walk with unshakable peace. You no longer question whether you belong, you know you do. You no longer search for signs, you have become one. Your very existence is proof of grace in motion. When others look at you, they see what perseverance looks like when it meets promise. Eternity has sealed your season. The storms you endured are now testimonies. The tears you cried have turned to oil of joy. You carry the fragrance of survival, the calmness of wisdom, and the strength of someone who has seen both the fire and the dawn. Your steps are no longer uncertain, they are ordered. Every breath you take now participates in heaven's ongoing plan. You will notice how everything begins to work together effortlessly. Doors open at the right time. People appear with divine purpose. Opportunities align without striving. This is the natural flow of one who has entered completion. You are not chasing anymore, you are being carried. You are no longer striving, you are stewarding. Eternity does not rush. And now, neither do you. You've learned to move at heaven's pace, steady, sure, unstoppable. You understand that purpose doesn't panic. You can rest even while the world trembles because you know who holds your future. The peace you carry is not fragile, it's eternal. It's the same peace that guarded your heart during storms, now blossoming into confidence. Chosen one, you are not just a witness to fulfillment, you are a continuation of it. The seeds you plant now will outlive you. The love you show will echo through generations. The prayers you've prayed will ripple into futures you will never see. This is what it means to live in eternal alignment. Your impact becomes infinite. And though you are stepping into rest, the story doesn't end here. Completion is not conclusion, it's continuation. Every cycle of growth births a new level of glory. What Sunday began was only the first of many waves. The same power that started this season will sustain the next. You will move from strength to strength, from glory to glory, from revelation to realization. Eternity has confirmed your name, sealed your path, and blessed your legacy. The heavens bear witness, the angels rejoice, and the earth responds. You are not simply alive, you are awakened. You no longer walk as one searching for purpose, you walk as purpose itself. You have become the message, the miracle, and the manifestation. You can feel it now. Deep in your spirit, the quiet certainty that nothing can separate you from what God has ordained. You don't have to chase validation, you are living proof. You don't have to fear the future. It's already aligned. You don't have to worry about loss. Nothing truly destined for you can ever be taken. This is the permanence of grace. The same love that found you will keep you. The same spirit that called you will carry you. The same hand that lifted you will sustain you. You are safe within the eternal plan. And now, as this chapter concludes, you realize it never truly ends. Sunday was only the start, but eternity is the continuation. You walk forward, radiant, unbroken, crowned with clarity and peace. Heaven's light follows you, not because you've earned it, but because you've become one with it. Eternity confirms what Sunday began, an unstoppable journey of purpose, perfected by love, sealed forever in light. Chosen one, take a breath. You have reached the end of this message, but not the end of your journey. Every word that has flowed through these sections has been a reflection of your awakening, your recognition of who you truly are in the divine story written long before your birth. You are not standing at the finish line, you are standing at the beginning of unstoppable purpose. Heaven has whispered, prepared, refined, and now released you. Everything you've read was meant to remind you of your divine nature, that you are not here by accident. You are light, chosen for a time such as this. You are part of a generation rising with grace and power, carrying truth into places where confusion once ruled. The world needs your presence. It needs your voice, your peace, your courage. If this journey has touched your heart, share it not as content, but as calling. Let it reach someone who has forgotten their worth, someone who needs to hear that they, too, are chosen. When you like or share, you are spreading more than words. You are spreading light. You become part of a ripple that carries hope farther than algorithms ever could. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so we can continue walking together. This space exists for the chosen ones, for those who are awakening, learning, and rising together. Every message that follows will build upon this one, guiding you deeper into the path heaven designed for you. Before you leave, take one last moment of reflection and write below, I am ready. It's not just a comment, it's a declaration. It tells heaven you've heard the call and you accept the crown. Your story has only begun. Chosen one, walk forward, shine. The world is waiting.